Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Alex Langer. I'm CEO and President of Sierra Madre Gold and Silver. Sierra Madre Gold and Silver is an exploration and future development company that's working on consolidating the area in and around Nayarit in western Mexico. Obviously, I'm going to make many forward-looking statements, so please, if you have time, review this. Why Sierra Madre? Why gold and silver? First off, I'm going to start with the area of Nayarit. The area in Nayarit has a fair amount of production. There's kind of family-style run mines, there's processing facilities, there's tolling mills, things like that. So there's a fair amount of production, but no one's really kind of come in and consolidated the area to date. So that's the opportunity. Our goal is to have 50 to 100 million ounces of silver under inventory, as well as production from 2 or 3 points, utilizing a centralized mining facility, kind of like a hub and spoke mining scenario. Something that we could start smaller, something that's modular, that as our projects get more advanced or as we acquire future projects, we'll be able to add on using a lower capex. Most recently, and with this strategy, we announced a really exciting new project, and it's the second one in our portfolio called La Tigra. We acquired La Tigra from Grupo Mexico. For those of you that don't know, Grupo Mexico is the third largest copper producer in the world. They have banks, they have grocery stores, they own the majority of the rail lines in Mexico. So to have a junior do a transaction with a group like Grupo is really, really rare. It just goes to show our management team and the people that we have under our company and our ability to do deals with larger corporates. I think Grupo's only ever done one other deal with a junior mining company, and they have a lot more projects, and we're constantly in discussions with them, again, in that roll-up strategy in and around Nayarit. Our second project is called Tepic, and I'll get into that a little bit further, but to give you an overview of Tepic, Tepic used to have a $150 million market cap in its previous company called Cream Minerals, but more importantly, they spent about $20 million in today's value in the ground. We have every single one of those drill holes. They did a bunch of metallurgical work. They also came out with about a half dozen resource reports. The last two are the ones we work off. One was 10 million ounces of silver equivalent. The other one was 18 million ounces of silver equivalent. So really just whatever cutoff grade you want it to be using. So this company is really built around management team. I'm going to start with a gentleman named Gregory Liller. Gregory, he is an exploration geologist by training, but he's ran and operated numerous mines. He's American. He lives in Tucson. However, he's been in Mexico since 1993. He's had 7 of his projects actually become mines, which is absolutely incredible. You can see some of the names there: Genco, Gammon Lake, which became Gammon Gold, Mex Gold, just to name a few. One thing that was always consistent with any of his mines, that once an M&A transaction occurred, it was always after production. Hence why we were looking for production, hence why we're not afraid of it, and why we're pushing towards it with any of our acquisitions or pushing our projects forward. I come from a capital markets background. I spent early part of my career at Canaccord Genuity, which is Canada's largest independent brokerage house. Most recently, I've been on the corporate side of things. A couple of companies you might recognize I'm a founder of. One is Prime Mining. Prime Mining, you'll recognize some similar names here. We started that company about 2 years ago at 30 cents a share, 15 million market cap. We just pushed over 400 million market cap in less than 2 years, and that was advancing the Los Reyes project in Mexico as well. What we did there is we noticed there were some issues with some of the early stage data. We were able to fix that and come out with over a million ounces of gold in 6 months just with trenching. Another company I'm a founder of, that's been in the news quite a bit lately, is Millennial Lithium. Millennial, we have a bankable feasibility stage project in Argentina, where 2 weeks ago we just announced a all-cash bid for $387 million from an unnamed party. That deposit is paid. Just to give you an idea, so we're doing pretty well. Also here in Idaho, fortunate enough to be a founder of a company that acquired the Idaho Cobalt project in Salmon. So I've been there a few times, and today that company just announced a $100 million drawdown facility to put that mine back into production. So if you take a look at some of the management team, we're well over $2 billion in M&A transactions in the last few years. Greg Smith is another gentleman who's joined us. Greg is awesome. He's a Spanish-speaking geologist. He was most recently CEO of Caliber Mining, where he stick-handled the acquisition of El Limon and La Libertad in Nicaragua. He's drilled out like 12 million ounces of gold in Venezuela. He's just awesome. Another gentleman we brought on recently is Luis Saenz. Luis comes from us from Frisco. For those of you that don't know Frisco, they have about 40 mines in Mexico. Luis was sub-director of exploration and development. So Luis is really comfortable working in multiple projects, kind of having teams siloed in between those projects and managing those projects. So he's an awesome get. Two more people I'll quickly touch on. Jorge Ramiro, who's actually here. Jorge is founder and CEO of a company called Reina Silver. He's based in Hong Kong, but he is Mexican. He was instrumental in us getting that La Tigra project from Grupo. The other gentleman is Alejandro Carreo. Alejandro comes from a really well-known mining family. He lives in Chihuahua. Not only is he a director, he's also a country manager. So he handles everything from permitting, dealing with ejidos, drill permits, local banking, everything like that. So we're not using any consultants. Any work that we're doing is all in-house to date. This gives you an idea of the location of the assets. As I mentioned, La Tigra and Tepic, they're about 143 kilometers away from each other, all paved roads. The roads are in excellent condition, and it really works well with that hub and spoke mining scenario. So we haven't decided exactly where we're going to put the mine and the operations, but we could put it somewhere in here. That way we're not beholden to, elevation or dams or rivers or anything like that. It gives us a lot more leeway to put a facility where it makes the most sense, so we can always expand down the road. Quickly on Tepic, as I mentioned, historic resources, just over 10 million ounces of silver, or 18 million, depending on which cutoff grade you want to use. Metallurgical test has been great, and it's a decent-sized land package of 2,600 hectares. This is the Tepic project. When we acquired it, they only had really worked a little bit in the central area. More recently, we found 3 other areas: north area, east area, and Taunas, and we've been working them pretty aggressively. Proximity to infrastructure is also very, very key. We're about 3 miles, 1.5 miles from a road, which is great. So we have a gravel road. There's a railhead right at site. The national grid goes right through, and we're within 20 minutes of a town of 500,000 people. So workforce is relevant. What's great is, again, we want to get into production. The closer you are, it's just going to be that much easier. It's going to bring your costs down. When we inherited the project, this is kind of what it looked like. We had about 3.5 kilometers of historical veinings. Within that comes the 10 or 18 million ounces of silver. Moreover, this year we've gone from 3.5 kilometers to well over 12 kilometers. Gives you an idea of the potential of where we can get this project. The previous operators had, done a little bit of work. They had never done any topography. Honestly, they just went in and drilled, and they didn't, test and trench anything. So we're about 4,000 meters into a trenching program within all these new areas, getting ready for our next drill program, which we're going to be announcing in the next 2 weeks, which should be quite exciting. We did this summer a 20-hole RC campaign to, check the previous drilling and the resource. We got about 100% similar numbers to them in terms of where there was resource. We had some decent intercepts, 15.2 meters of 419 grams silver equivalent, and another 22.9 meters of 222 grams silver equivalent. So some really good numbers, super happy with it, gives us full confidence in that previous resource and those previous drilling. One thing that did come up, which was actually quite exciting for us, is we discovered 6 new zones, all within 30 meters of surface. So what this means, at least for us, is we were always looking at it, moving underground to a shallow type mining scenario. Now with 6 new undiscovered zones within 30 meters of surface, it looks like we could probably do bulk tonnage open pit before moving to kind of a bulk tonnage underground scenario. The reason why the previous operator hadn't done assays in the first 30 meters is because the rock is quite porous. They're using diamond drilling, and we're just getting the recoveries. So with RC, we're able to get 100% of the recoveries and come up with these 6 new zones. One other really important part, which has been great, is the widths. We're about 6.8 meters, and now with the RC, it looks like we're closer to 8 meters. Again, it's going to be helpful when we're mining. This is one of the areas that we have found. The previous operators never went. It's kind of around the side of the mountain, so it's about an hour-and-a-half drive. I would love to say this was a discovery, but it's not. We came across about 6 colonial mines. And again, no one's ever touched it. It's about 1.5 kilometers. All the surface samples that have come back averaging 600 to 700 grams silver equivalent. So really high grade, exactly what we're looking for. Very similar geology to the other side. So we've gone in looking for a decent sized silver mine that we can push forward, and it's looking to be much bigger than we had thought, which is great. Again, here is another example. This is called Estasias in the north area. These little guys, the little outcroppings, this is a basalt flow that came in a little bit later. We sampled where we could get to, and again, we're getting those similar grades, kind of 600-700 grams silver equivalent. We decided to explore this area a little bit more because it looks like some of these vein materials could flow all the way through underneath the basalt. We're a little concerned about how deep the basalt was because, could be, a couple inches, could be 30, 40 meters. It was 1 meter. So our guys are absolutely thrilled. So they can use a shovel, and they're digging in, and we started trenching this area already. This is a historic resource. Again, I just want to point out kind of the widths. That's really conductive to mining, which is great. And the last resource, or the last drilling, shows that those meters could be even higher, which is great. Metallurgical work. This was done by the previous operators. They spent about $500,000 on it. And again, it's been great for us. If you find a project, it has a resource, if you can't get the minerals out of the ground, well, it's not going to work very well. So for us, what was really interesting is a silver dominant project. Is a scoping flotation test in cyanide leaching of tailings. You're getting close to 90% recovery on silver, which is just excellent, as well as the gold at 94. So we'll have to do more met work, and we will after the resource report comes out. So this is the second project. This is La Tigra. This is the one we acquired from Grupo Mexico about a month ago. Again, this thing was in production for about 100 years. It has never seen a drill hole. It has never seen mapping or topography work. The head grades coming out of there were 10 grams gold and 358 grams silver. So really, really high grade. Our geologists absolutely love this project. Took about 2 years to build a relationship with Grupo for them to trust us to take this one on. So we're trenching there right now. We've done about 500 samples, and we will be drilling this year. This is one of those opportunities. We can see those massive, neat discoveries. This is what we're looking for here, kind of a high-grade intercepts. This is what we're doing over the next little while. We are busy. We're about to announce a new work program or drilling program at Tepic. We are permitted for 67 holes. Our plan is to increase that exponentially, and we're going to drill over those 13.5 kilometers of veins and come up with an updated NI 43-101 resource report in Q1 of 2022. At the same time, we're actively exploring La Tigra. We are going to finish our trencher campaign and then move right into drilling. So we're going to have 2 drill rigs. We're going to keep RC always at Tepic, and then our diamond drill, we'll do about 15 at Tepic, wait for assays, move the drill over to La Tigra. The mob costs are like $3,400. And if you miss a drill hole by a couple meters, you're saving a ton of money already. That's about it in terms of our exploration and what we're working on. We are looking at some other projects as well, so that could come to fruition anytime. This is our capital structure. It's quite good. We still have $12 million cash on hand. When we did the IPO in April, our order book was actually over $32 million. We decided on a smaller amount, but we were still able to bring in some significant funds. We have about 10 funds that make out the 7.4% shareholder. Reason being they came in now is they understood management team and what we're trying to build and where we want to grow, that they're able to invest much smaller amounts. I think the largest was $800,000 with a full expectation that as our projects progress and as we acquire new projects, that they'll be able to come in and top up. These guys usually want to invest kind of 8 to 10 million per company, so we're working towards allowing them to do that. In the meantime, management and founders, that's myself and a few others, we're actually way over 40%. I am the largest shareholder. I have about 5.5 million shares. We have no warrants. I shouldn't say that. We have some broker warrants. That was from the IPO financing, but we'll cross those out relatively soon. So it'll be a really clean cap table. So that's kind of it. That's Tepic. We are consolidating the area in and around Nayarit. The Tepic project is excellent. We're going to be announcing a very significant drilling campaign starting very soon. We are trenching as we speak, so those results are coming in. And then at La Tigra, we could have a really neat discovery sometime this year. And with that, I say thank you very much. And if there's any questions, I'm here now, or come by the booth anytime.